Welcome back to Quantum Base. Today, we are getting hands-on with self-hosting. I'm going to be showing you how to set up your own virtual private server so you can deploy whatever service you want, including N8N in the most cost-effective and scalable way, things like your own WhatsApp API, Postgres and Redis databases, GraphRag. At Quantum Base, we self-host most of our platforms, so I'm really excited to be showing you how to get set up. Then I'm going to walk you through setting up your API keys for services like Google Cloud Console, OpenAI, and Anthropic. By the end of this, you're going to feel really powerful, like you got the world in your hands. And the good news is, it doesn't need much technical skill. You'll see what I mean. This tutorial is actually the prerequisite for the AI Automation Specialist Bootcamp at Quantum Base. We still have seats open, but we're capping it at 100. So if you want in, now's the time. Let's get started. Since the AI automation that we're going to be talking about revolves mostly around N8N, there's no better place to start than their website. Let's go to the pricing. In the pricing, I've set it to monthly, just to give you an idea. If we were to sign up with N8N directly, we'd be looking at 24 euros a month, billed monthly, 60 euros a month, or the enterprise package, which is usually around 10,000 euros or more a year. Let's get an understanding of what executions and concurrent executions are so we can really understand what N8N is offering on their different plans. So what we're looking at now is a blog post writer workflow from N8N, and an execution would be running this workflow from start to finish. So let's say you offer this blog writer to 3 or 4 clients, and they're going to run it at the same time. That's 4 concurrent executions. Think of it as cars on the highway. If the highway or the road is just one lane, you can only run 1 execution at a time. But if you had 2 lanes, then you could have 2 executions running at a time. 3 lanes, 3 executions, and 5 lanes, 5 concurrent executions. So imagine concurrency as an extra lane on your highway. Let's say you're offering a service on a website that when the user presses the process button, it goes and runs a workflow on your N8N. If you had tens of users on your website, you'd want the ability to have tens of executions running at the same time. And that's basically what concurrency is. So going back to the comparison of N8N's plans, you have the starter, the pro, and the enterprise. Here are how many concurrent executions you can run and how many total workflow executions you can run per year. Luckily, there is a more affordable and scalable way to do this. And that's where we look at self-hosting N8N on your VPS, like I was mentioning at the beginning of the video. At Quantum Base, we use self-hosted solutions, and we run most of our services on a KVM too. We chose Hostinger because of its price, uptime, and customer service. Now let's get into the action. I'm going to show you how to sign up for and set up a VPS with the ability to install any self-hosted platform, including N8N. If you go to Hostinger, you can sign up for VPS hosting. It gives you a few options. KVM2 is the most popular for good reasons. Choose your plan, and then choose your location. So the best way to go about choosing the location for your virtual private server would be geographically speaking. Whatever's closest is most ideal. And there are different cases, which I'll go through. So let's say you live in Lebanon, and your clients are also in Lebanon. The nearest region that Hostinger offers is in Europe. So I would imagine that to be either France or Germany. Let's take a look. So here in Europe, you've got France, United Kingdom, Germany, Lithuania. It's going to be France or Germany for Lebanon, so I would look at the best latency possible. Let's say that I'm in Toronto, okay? And my clients are mostly in the Middle East, and some of them are in the United States, and some of them are in Europe. Ideally for me, I wouldn't go for the United States because that might be too far away from my clients. So I would find the middle ground. So obviously the United States is the best for me in terms of latency, but I would choose France because it's the best middle ground. It's the best latency in Europe. If you look at the description or under the video, you'll find a link for a referral. See if it's a better deal for you, and maybe it turns out to be great, but it's totally worth it. Once you're done with location, you're going to move on to your operating system. So in operating system, you can choose a plain OS, so just a standard Linux operating system, or you can go to OS with panel, which has a lot of the one-click deploy panels that you can easily just click on apps and install them, and they become websites on your domain. Then there's application, which most people go for when self-hosting on Hostinger. The reason that I'm not a huge fan of this is because when you load N8N as an application on Hostinger, it sets up N8N with an SQLite database, which is in the form of one file. It's not great in terms of stability, and it's definitely not scalable. So the ideal way to do it would be to set it up with Postgres. So the way that I would recommend is going to OS with panel and then clicking on Coolify. Coolify is fantastic. It sorts out your SSL certificates. It takes care of your proxy, and it does one-click installs. And I'm going to walk you through it. After you're done, you pay, register, and then once you're done registering, you should be prompted to set your root password and then let Coolify deploy. Once Coolify is deployed, you should be able to access the panel. You'll see a Manage Panel button. You'll click on it, and you'll see this window. Put your name in, put your email, and then set a good password. And make sure it's a very, very good password. Before I hit register, it's important to note that the address bar is going to contain an IP address. That IP address is something that you should keep safe. Note it down. That is your virtual private server. You will always access it when you need to access your Coolify instance. And you'll need to include the port at the end of the IP address, which is 8000. Then, when you're ready, hit register. It's going to say, let me set you up with the basics. You're going to go to Get Started. It's going to say self-hosting with superpowers. You're going to hit Next. And then there's localhost and remote server. Localhost is when your apps live on your local host. And remote server is when you want Coolify to deploy and manage apps on a remote server. So in this case, we're picking localhost. Then we just skip onboarding because we don't need to create a new project at the moment. I want to walk you through the Coolify interface. So this is Coolify. You can go ahead and close these little pop-ups. And you've got light and dark mode. I'm going to go ahead with light mode, but if you prefer dark mode, that's great. So this is Coolify. You have your menu on the left, which has dashboard, projects, servers, sources, destinations, and so on. The first thing you should do is go to servers. Your server is your local host. It's your virtual private server. Click on localhost and then go to security. And the first thing that you should do is check for updates and update your server. So in my case, you'll notice that I have a lot of updates, and some of these are important for security. So I'll go ahead and update all packages. It's going to want you to, you're going to see this a lot on Coolify. Whenever you're doing something like stopping, deleting an instance, deleting a project, it'll want you to confirm your actions by copying this and pasting it here. Okay. And now it's going to update my server packages. Don't panic if you see this screen. It's just because you're restarting your server and your server is hosting Coolify. So obviously you can't see something that isn't there. So once it's done, you could go ahead and refresh. All right. Once you're done, you're going to go to Profile. And this is very important. I want you to configure your two-factor authentication. Click Configure. put your password in, and then you'll get this window. Scan the QR code, type in the one-time password. You're going to use Google Authenticator, Authy, or whatever it is you use for your two-factor authentication. But this is very important. Once we're done, we're ready to install our apps. So you're going to go to Projects. You're going to go to Add Project. In this case, we're installing N8N. So I'll call it that. We're going to hit Continue. And then you'll see Production. And this is where your production service will be. The alternative is something like staging, but you don't need to get into that. Click on Production. Click on Add New Resource. And this is where the treasure lies. All of these are one-click apps that you could just set up and then you own them. They're in your virtual private server. They're yours to use. No subscription fees. And that's what I was talking about when I said you will feel that you have all the power in the world. So we're going to type N8N and we have two options. The first option is the one with the SQLite database, which I highly advise against. And then N8N with Postgres. And this is a great one. It's going to set up the services already for you. So you've got your N8N service here and then your Postgres database here. Okay? Don't be intimidated. Don't worry. You're okay. You're good. Okay? So here you want to go to Settings. It's already assigned for you a very long domain. You can change that. The way to do it is add an A record to your domain that points to your VPS IP address. I'll show you an example. Don't panic. Okay? So your domain might be on GoDaddy. It might be on NameSilo. It might be on something else, maybe Squarespace. It could be on Hostinger. So most of our domains are also hosted on Hostinger. And I'm going to go ahead and show you how to add an A record for our quantumbase.xyz domain. It's very simple. If I wanted it to be n8n.quantumbase.xyz, I would simply add N8N and then point it to the server address. Going back to Coolify, you'll see your virtual private server's address is right here. You can ignore the port for now, so just copy the address. Go to your domain DNS, add one A record with N8N as the name, and then have it point to your virtual private server without any HTTP or anything like that, just the IP address. And then you add the record. It's going to confirm. You say OK. And then when you're done, give it a few minutes. All you have to do, you come back to N8N. You're going to remove the entire domain here, the suggested one, the one that they're making for you. And you're going to go https://n8n. The domain that you wanted to set up. So in our case, it's quantumbase.xyz. And then we're going to save it. And then we're going to deploy. We're going to watch it. Try not to fall asleep. Let it download. Don't you feel like a hacker sometimes when you're doing this stuff? So what it's doing now is it's downloading the latest N8N image from the Docker registry. And now it's starting everything up. The services are up. You can close this yourself. And by the way, you don't have to keep it open. If you wanted to deploy it and then walk away, that's fine too. Okay, let's get that free domain. We're going to go to noip.com and then get noip for free. Sign up with your email. So for me, I'll just use the usual. After you're done, check your email to activate your account. You should see something like this. Click confirm and then choose whatever reflects your situation. I'm just going to go with personal for now and then skip. And then go to free dynamic DNS. Then it's going to take you straight to DNS records. If you don't see that free dynamic DNS or you skip it for whatever reason, this is where it is. DNS records. So just like if you had your own domain, you're going to use one of these free domains that you have for you to select. It's going to be the first section. These ones are not free, as far as I'm aware. Choose one of these depending on what works for you and your industry. ddns.net seems to be the most professional one. And then just put whatever you want to name your site. So in our case, if my name was Adam, it would be N8N Adam, for example. And then you'd switch to your VPS, grab the IP address of your VPS, and then paste it here. And make sure you remove any slashes or HTTP. Just the IP address is good. And then once you're done, you're going to hit create, and then you're going to copy it, go back to your Coolify instance on your VPS, and then you're going to paste it. But make sure before doing anything else that you add HTTPS. Then you're going to save and deploy. So now we're done, and give it some time, because after you do this, the proxy in Coolify is going to go and register your SSL certificates. So give it some time, and then when you're ready, new tab, and you're going to go to the website that you put in. So n8n.quantumbase.xyz in our case. And there you have it. You now have your own N8N. I'm going to go ahead and set up my account. Once you're done, you're going to hit next. You don't have to answer this. And then it's going to say, we're going to give you a license key for free forever. So just take it. Hit send me a free license key. You're going to then get an email with your license key. Click activate license key, and that's it. You're done. If that doesn't work in rare cases, just go to your settings. So from here, click on your name, go to settings, and then in usage and plan, click enter activation key and paste it. That's how you do it. Once you're done, activate it and you'll be good. Now you have N8N. You can start your workflows. It's scalable because it's on a Postgres database. You can get started. But before we go, let's go to settings again and make sure that we go to personal and then set up two-factor authentication. Same process, scan it with your authenticator app, type in the code, and follow the instructions. Once you're done, let's set up our API keys. So what are API keys? Whenever we're using services like OpenAI, ChatGPT models, Gemini by Google, which is very powerful still, Claude by Anthropic, we need to have access to their API. While we work throughout the bootcamp, we're going to be using very cost-effective techniques. We're going to be using slimmer models. There's the new ChatGPT 5 Mini, which is fantastic. It's even cheaper than the 4.1 Mini. And we're going to use Google Gemini 2.5 Pro, and then Claude when we really need it. It's a matter of personal preference, but I'm going to show you how to set it all up. Aside from the AI APIs, we're going to be setting up our Google API. Google has a lot of services that we're going to use in our automations, like Google Drive, Google Sheets, Google Docs, and a ton of other services. Again, it's going to be easy, but it needs to be done so we can have things set up. Let's get started. We're going to start by going to console.cloud.google.com. And then we're going to log in. After we log in, it's going to ask us a few questions like our country, terms of service, and so on. We're going to agree to that and continue. Then you're going to be offered $300 in free credits. That is a great offer because you can use that for AI, you can use that for APIs, and it's fantastic. But you do need to add a payment method. So let's start by trying for free. We're going to go to agree, and then you need to add a payment method. Once you add a payment method, then you can start. It's a general API requirement, and I don't expect us to be spending more than $30 to $50 in API costs during the course. Once you're done registering, you can simply close this, and then congratulations, you have $300 that you can spend for the next 90 days. Go crazy. So For me, it says 413 because it's in Canadian dollars. But anyway, let's get started. You're going to look at the top left here where it says My First Project, and you want to give it a meaningful name. Let's create a new project. In new project, we're going to call it N8N Quantum Base. I'm just going to go ahead and hit create. Now it's creating the project. Once it's done, I'm going to select it. You can select it from here or the top left. And then whenever you're working on getting API keys or credentials or anything for your Google API, you want to make sure that you're always in the right project. Let's get started. The first thing you want to set up is OAuth. So search OAuth and go to OAuth consent screen. Once you're here, you're going to click Get Started. You're going to make an app name. Don't worry. Just call it N8N. And then give it a support email, which will be your email. Hit Next. For this one, you have internal or external. You could go with external. Hit Next, and then put your email address. So for me, it'll be mine. Hit Next, agree, continue, and create. Now we have our OAuth client. We're going to hit create. Application type is the first thing we see. We're going to choose web application. And then we're going to name it. So we can easily just name it N8N client. It could be anything. Don't worry about it. And then authorized JavaScript origins and authorized redirect URIs. This is an important part. So I'm going to go back to N8N. In our N8N, we're going to go to credentials. And we're going to pick any Google credential. Let's start with Docs. We're going to click that. And here we'll get an OAuth redirect URL. We're going to copy it. So in your case, it'll be whatever domain you gave it or the default domain. And then you're going to go and you're going to put that here in the authorized redirect URI. And then in the authorized JavaScript origins, you're just going to put your website. So that'll be the main domain. So if your name was Adam and it was n8n.adam.net, for example, then you would just put adam.net. It would be the main domain. That's it. You fill it up, you put in the main URL and then the callback URL that you got from N8N here, and then you hit create. Congratulations, you now have your OAuth client. You're going to get this ID. Usually API keys disappear. You see them once and then they're gone. You can't see them again. You either have to delete them or generate a new key. In this case, client ID and client secret, they persist. So you can copy it now or you can just hit OK. Now that you have your OAuth client ID, this is what you'll always be grabbing and pasting into your N8N. So you can click on it, grab your client ID, copy it, paste it in client ID, go back, copy your client secret, paste it in client secret, and then hit save. You're going to go back, and it's important that you go to audience and hit publish app. Once you're done, you say confirm, and now you'll be able to log in. So you go to sign in with Google, and then you choose the account. Don't worry if you get this, okay? Just go to advanced and then go to continue unsafe because it's your account. Hit select all to trust everything and then continue. Then close it and then close it. You'll notice that it did add the credential, but when I make a workflow that uses Docs, it's not going to work. We need to enable it in the API. What we did here is we enabled the client that lets you log in. So that login window, that blue button, that's what we enabled. Every API that we want to use, like Google Docs, Google Sheets, all that fun stuff, we have to enable it, and it's very quick. So for Docs, for example, We're going to type Docs, Google Docs API. We click on it. We go to Enable. That's it. Now it's enabled. And when it's enabled across N8N Quantum Base or N8N project name, whatever you have. So we did Docs. Let's do Sheets. Same thing. Enable. We did Sheets. Let's do Drive. Same thing. You go, you search Drive. Enable. When you're done with that, let's do Calendar. Any Google service that you want to automate, you come here, you enable it, and that's it. And then every time you want to access it, you'll have to do this once, and you can do it from the workflow or from the credentials tabs. So for example, if we were in a workflow, I'm going to start, and then we're going to go to Calendar, and then we're going to click on Calendar, let's say on Event Created. We're going to select our credential. Notice we didn't create one for Calendar. We click on it. We have to paste that client ID and client secret. So it's important that whenever you do want to add a credential, that you're going to add the client ID and client secret. You always get those from here. You go to API and Services, OAuth consent screen, Clients, N8N client, and copy your client ID. Copy this one. Paste it here, copy your client secret, paste it here. And you're going to do that for every service, but you only do it once. So that's where you get it. It's always going to be no matter where you go. So let's say, for example, contacts. We didn't enable the contacts API. Enable it. When you enable it and it goes to the main page, it'll also have an OAuth screen on the left. Clients, N8N client, and you grab it from here. All the services have the same client ID and client secret. I recommend that you take these two and put them somewhere safe and accessible so you don't have to log into this platform every time you need them. So now we've saved this one and we can go ahead and sign in. We do the same thing. Sign in, advanced, go ahead, select all, continue. And now we have two credentials on our N8N for Calendar and for Google Docs. If we wanted to add Google Drive, we would do the same. We'd use any node, whatever, and then go to credential. We're going to paste the client ID and the client secret. We're going to hit sign in, continue, select all, and done. You can go ahead and add all the credentials. The way that I do it is whenever I need it, I'll add it. And just as a recap, you only need to make one OAuth client ID, which will work with all services. Whenever there's a new service that you want to automate, you just type its name. For OpenAI, we're going to go to platform.openai.com. You can log in with the main account that you use for ChatGPT or make a new one. Once you're in, it'll ask you to create an organization. For mine, I'll just call it Tariq Al-Org. Then I'll invite my team later. You can make a test key and a default project. That's fine. You could say I'll do it later. And then buy credits. You could buy them or just buy them later. Once you're done with that, you're going to go to the settings. You're going to go to API keys. And you're going to create a key. You can name the key. In this case, of course, we'll call it N8N. And the project will be default project. Or if you want to start doing a lot of different projects with different API keys, nobody's stopping you. But the way that I do it is I put it in the default project. Create the key, copy the key, go back to N8N, create the credential, and type OpenAI, hit continue, paste your API key, and that's it. You're good to go. It tests it, it lets you know it's working, and that's it. Now you can use OpenAI nodes in N8N. Let's move on to Claude. For Claude, we're going to go to console.anthropic. We're going to go to console.anthropic.com. Then we're going to log in. It's going to ask for the usual details. I'm going to put my name in there. Continue. Individual, organization. I'm just going to go ahead with individual. You can go with organization if that works better for you. And then you can get an API key. To get an API key, you need to pay $5. So once you pay the $5, get API key, create key, type N8N, add, copy your key, back to N8N, we're going to go to create credential, and then we're going to type Anthropic. In Anthropic, we're going to paste the API key, save it, it's going to test it, and it succeeded. Okay? And that's it. Thank you for watching and following along. I hope you got a lot of value from this video. Please don't hesitate if you have any questions to join us at myquantumbase.com. It's free. The people there are great. We have a fantastic community, and we'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, and let us know how we're doing. Have a great day.